speak unless they had something of import to say, or at least something genuinely humorous, which was as valuable in a different way. Yurn's ears flicked back, and the old man resisted the urge to turn to see what he had heard. The beast's hearing was better than his own, but there were things that even he could detect without requiring the keener senses of the donkey that followed him so willingly. Finally, the animal nudged him in the back, snorted loudly, and uttered a painfully loud bray to catch his attention.
"I know. I hear them too, old friend,"
Turval muttered and patted the beast on the neck.
"Or smell them, rather. My ears, as large as they are, cannot hear as well as they used to, but my sense of smell has always been attuned to the stench of foul men who have not been taught the benefits of washing themselves regularly."
His words were spoken loudly, and he let his voice carry through the woods and above the sounds of the forest. Men who had lived and grown in the forest would have learned to cover their scents better to enable them to hunt and trap effectively without turning the rest of the creatures they shared the wooded lands with away. That meant these were foreigners. Not many people chose to live in the Droom's woodlands. Those who did were generally forced into it by the fact that of the 3 nations that bordered the woods, none sent troops in for patrols due to mysterious losses. A few tribes and clans still called the place home, but he had long since learned that they moved through the woods without leaving tracks and without so much as being heard, seen, or smelled. These were not those. They were brigands, most likely. Deserters were probably among them as well, judging by the sound of rough, ill-fitting armor scraping the trees that they passed. Making a living by preying on the odd passer-by was not a good living, not in these parts anyway, which meant these were desperate men and likely moving on to greener pastures. The fact that they thought they were sneaking up on him was interesting. Did they honestly think they were being stealthy? Or perhaps the better question was why they thought they needed to sneak up on an old man with no visible riches or even a good store of food. There were 7 of them, all armed and armored. If they thought they needed to be tactical about their dark work when circumstances didn't demand it, they certainly wouldn't progress too far in their chosen life of crime. Then again, if they were the intelligent type, they wouldn't have tried to plunder travelers in the woodlands. One of them managed to move past him and gain the lead. It was only a matter of minutes now before the inevitable confrontation. Finally, Turval stopped and brought Yurn to a halt as well, a few seconds before the first man stepped out of the shadows of the trees. The stranger held a crossbow in his hands, pointed directly at his target's chest. The old man tried not to look too bored. Brigands tended to take offense at that.
"Drop your weapon,"
said a rough voice behind him. He didn't turn and merely watched the man directly ahead.
"It's not a weapon. It's a walking stick,"
Turval pointed out and restrained a smirk.
"It might be a weapon in the hands of Gendral monks, but as you can see, I do not wear the robes of the order. I said drop the weapon, old man."
He sighed deeply and let his walking stick fall as the men approached from behind.
"Not the brightest to be traveling on these roads alone, are you?"
The apparent leader of the group commented, shoved him to the ground, and stood over him.
"Someone as old as you should know that using the patrolled roads is safer. Then again, someone as old as you should know that staying home is best for grandfathers."
Turval paid no attention to the man's poor attempts at insults, and focused instead on the donkey, who lowered his head calmly to browse a patch of grass that grew next to the path.
"Nothing to say?" he asked with a scowl. "Not even an attempt to help me or come to my aid? Some friend you are."
"Captain," the brigand with the crossbow called.
"He's talking to the donkey. You think he's some kind of witch or summit?" "No, he's no witch," the leader laughed, moved to the beast, and patted his neck. "He's gone mad from journeying by himself. Probably got kicked out of it."